Okay, welcome back to the garage. We've got the table done. Now, what I want to tell you is what happened between when you saw the second coat being applied and now. I did do a third coat, same process as the second coat. Scuff, look for any drippings, make sure that there are no bits of dust or anything that are really problematic. Apply the coat, let it dry, and I let it dry a little extra long because I had to reattach pieces. So I wanted to make sure everything was dry and cured as well as it could be, so that when I was trying to put the rim back on, or if I was manipulating something, that it wasn't under cured, and then maybe there would be some denting or some shifting in the gloss. Then what I did is I took, you'll remember that the legs are attached to the insides of the rim by nuts, and then from the outsides there are screws that go through. We numbered them. Fortunately for us, there was enough numbering left after all the schmutz to be able to put the rim back in the right order and also to attach the legs to the right spots. But what I did first was I took out all of the bolts that were holding in the legs. These are bolts that were set, so they're basically what happens is a very coarse screw that gets screwed into the wood, and then there's a tapered machined screw peg that hangs out that you can put a nut onto. So part of it's meant to grind into the wood and hold, and the other part sticks out as something that you'll attach the nut to. What I realized when we were shifting the table and I was showing you how loose it was that those pegs were very loose, and you can't tighten them in too far because then there's not enough of the bolt hanging out of the other end of the piece of wood to cap the nut to. So what I did is I pulled out all of them, cleaned out the holes where there was some rot and a little bit of distressing, put epoxy in there, and then I retightened them in there, let the epoxy set. So basically what it is I was creating almost like a new space for that bolt to hang on to. So now it's really in there, and then I could reattach the legs through those nuts. The other thing that I did is when I went to put the rim back on, I set it up so that all of those nails that were holding it were in their proper spots. Basically what I did is I didn't put any new nails in it. I used the old one so that I wouldn't wreck the wood on either end. But you adjust it so that the nail fits in each of the holes that are around there. Got it all nice and set up over the top. Again, mixed up some epoxy, put it around the base of where that rim was gonna set, and then I hand pressed it all down as much as I could. You take a hammer and you tap the tops of the nails, tap the tops of the joints where it needs to in order to make sure it's nice and flat. But again, you want to make sure that the top coat is dry before you do that. Otherwise, you know, when you're banging on that rim and you're nailing into that tabletop, stuff will move, stuff will shift, it'll get kind of schmutzy. So let's take a look and see what we got. As you can see, you could practically see the reflection of the back in this piece. If you take a look at the top, you can now see, look how shiny that is. You can see the reflection of the light, and you can also see the grain. All of that damage is gone. All of the wear, all of the watermarks and so forth. If you look around at that rim, you got a nice clean rim. Those legs are very nice and shiny. They're very nice and clean. And then also in the middle, you can see all that detail work kind of came through. Because we got her set up, she doesn't rock anymore. She's got a little shimmy, but that's normal in a table like this, but it wasn't as wobbly as it was before. The thing about this table is because it is old, it's gonna settle wherever you're gonna put it. I'm pretty sure he's putting it in some place with carpeting, so it doesn't really have that big of a problem where it's just gonna settle into the carpet and it'll be really nice. If you end up having to put a table like this where it's gotten some wobble over the years and you really can't get any more, you don't wanna have it where you're kind of, because you can see, all I have to do is just shift this thing and it wobbles in different ways simply because there's a little bit of distinction in the patterning. What you can do is you can put a small shim underneath there. I'll usually glue a small piece of wood underneath there, or you can get those little foamy, like little rug, little nubbins that put on the bottom of this thing. Nice thing about this is that it's scratch resistant and it's waterproof, so somebody puts a soda on here, it's not going to become a problem. Somebody dumps some water on here, somebody puts a plant on here, which, by the way, don't recommend just because I don't like plants on wooden furniture. But, you know, my wife's got a greenhouse growing on top of a cedar chest that I've got in there, and it works out really well as far as keeping everything clean. But she's nice, she's clean, she's shiny, and I'm pretty sure Alex is going to like it. I hope you liked the videos, and I hope it gave you everything that you needed. If not, you know where I am. Just feel free to give me a holler. Thanks, and good luck with your wood finishing projects.